that they wanna try to propose to adjust it, or I don't know, so I let you know as we find out more.
So I guess as a follow-up question, I know on the agenda, we have, potential to go into a closed meeting. So we still gonna do that or not?
I would say no, I left that on there just in case something were to come up last night, because they voted last night. So in case something came up last night or this morning, I left that on the agenda. If we needed to, it's there, but I would say we don't, unless one of you or all of you elect to go into closed section, but I don't see a point in it that they voted no on the TA.
Yeah. And wait and see what they come back with.
See by the counter proposal.
Well, I'm not sure how that all goes, so I don't wanna guess at it.
That it?
That would be it.
All right.
So I have some questions for the manager.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So has there been any more conversation or any follow-up contact with Stone Cove and
Yes.
the Bibbins Road thing?
Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot totally about that. So, we took the abandonment to the register of deeds. It's registered, it's their property now. We have no claim, liability, anything to it. I would assume they could be out there today, putting a berm across to both ends, and blocking it off. It's their road now, and they can do with what they want. We've got, locates put in for mistake so that we can put in new signposts. We'll put one sign at the beginning of Bibbins Road at US 12 saying dead end, and then another one at the very end saying road ends. And then they have agreed, and we went through that whole spec of what we expect for the roads, and they're good with that, and they say they'll have it done this year. And we'll see how it goes. But as it stands right now, I think they intend to block it off here very quickly. If they're not, like I said, if they're not already putting a berm or something across. And that's where we sit. I talked to Bill Petrie this morning. I think he's still angling to them to see if they'll do the brine for them, but that's up to them, and if they do, that's great.
Yeah.
Other than that, you got any other questions for Stone Cove stuff?
Not on Stone Cove, but then I'm going back to Territorial Road. I've heard numerous complaints from citizens down in that part of the county, and we heard one of these gentlemen this morning about, especially from M49 west, those rumble strips are horrible. From M49 west to the Indiana line.
Yes, that whole thing's getting paper patched.
Okay,
You didn't say that. Why ask that question?
well, I thought you talked
That
about.
was in my,
You talked about a stretch of it, but I didn't think it was from M49 clear west to the state line.
yes, that's paper patching. The Eden Road cutoff is basically gonna be an overlay.
Yeah.
That's gonna be all paved. The one from 49 to the state line is gonna be paper patched at any of the bad spots. And I guess I can,
So what in the world happened there?
Winner.
just every other.
Well, I mean, I heard one comment was that they made the cuts too deep. And then the effect of freezing and thawing over the winter caused the holes to.
I've never been a big fan of those to begin with, but yes. That's one of the prime reasons. If it's not a brand new road that you're doing it to, and even then I don't like it, it just opens up the asphalt to deteriorate, so yeah.
I think that's an overlay down there anyway. Years ago.
I don't know how long ago that was, but.
It was, I mean.
So anyway, there's there's 1,800 tons that we've scheduled just for that section from 49 to the state line. So it won't be a solid thing, but there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of asphalt.
So basically, there's 12 different sections that'll be different sizes, but 12 different sections that'll get a paver patch.
Are they getting seal coated also?
Probably not this year. If we can get a bunch of these paver patched in, maybe we can just go through and seal coat them all next year, but I'm not keen on that, but budget kind of calls for other.
It is what it is.
So then just a follow-up comment, for these two gentlemen. I mean, what we have done on Camden Road over about the last 6 years, where we've ground up and redone typically a 2-mile stretch at a time.
Yeah.
And there was at least 1 or 2 years that we didn't do anything because of just other issues that came up, we couldn't get to it. So it's my understanding that to do that takes at least $500,000 a mile.
At least.
So
Depending on the conditions, it could be $1 million amount.
So that's one of the issues that not only this road commission, but other rural road commissions face in the state of Michigan, is that you take a blacktop road that hasn't had much attention for a long time, and to make it a really good road, it's a very expensive project. Even if you do just a 2 or 2.5 inch overlay, it costs what, around $300,000 a mile?
Yeah, easy.
Because that's what happened on Montgomery from M49 west to Long Lake Road. So, Hillsdale County Road Commission gets a little over $8 million a year of state aid.
I look at your budget.
And so we have 1,200 miles of road in the county, about 600 of that is blacktop. I'm not talking about the state roads. I'm just talking about the primary roads and the local roads. And so if you take that 8 million and divide it by 1,200 miles, you come up with about $7,000 or $8,000 a mile annually is what we get from the state to take care of our roads. And then when you look at the cost of doing a major redo on a blacktop road of plus or minus $500,000 a mile, unfortunately, we can't come close to doing what we need to do.
So you get federal grants to do that mainly?
Sure.
But the federal grants, at most, we only get maybe $1 million a year, maybe less than that.
What's unfortunate for the constituents is they see a lot of work being done further away and hardly any work being done. And the recourse is the township, and you don't get much out of Amboy Township. You get much out of Two Minute Township, period.
I thought Whitmer was gonna fix the roads, damn it.
That money went into the freeways around the big cities.
Exactly.
None of it came to rural counties.
Oh, I'm not down with that.
Yeah.
I'm not talking that at all.
Now, there is a proposal in the Michigan legislature, the state house has approved a proposal. The Senate hasn't even taken it up to talk about what they're gonna do with it. That would give this road commission, all of the road commissions in the state, about double the money that they're currently getting on an annual basis. We could make some significant headway if that got approved. Or anyway, even some plan close to it.
Yeah, right.
The
I
current,
appreciate the information, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could I ask, as a follow-up to that, given the money we're there, or given you get an increased budget, or even your existing budget, what are the criteria you use to prioritize different projects?
There's the pacer rating.
A lot of it has to do with the pacer rating, which is the rating that the road gets. It's a rating of 1 to 10 of what we have to give a road every 2 years. So 10 being a brand new road, 1 being a failed road. So that pacer rating, the traffic counts, all that kind of stuff goes into whether it's a federal aid eligible road. Some roads are, some aren't. All that kind of stuff gets put together into a big pool, and then we've got to start deciding which ones taking priority.
I'm sort of curious, I know maybe won't feel comfortable answering this. I'm just sort of curious if there's a bias against dealing with roads that have a lot of Amish traffic because they're steel wheels,
No.
butter them up pretty well.
What can we do about it?
Well,
Not a lot.
no.
Being in Indiana, they made them, a lot of them places, made them jump over rubber,
Yeah, why not?
rubber shoes.
Rubberized.
That would have to be done at the
From-
state level.
From the talks I've had with
Okay.
CRA and, different legislators, really nobody here in the state's willing to take that on.
Well, our concern is, they're spreading out down there big time. The millers, they're moving all over, they're getting, forfeiting their
That's where
children's future to buy this land for too much money.
that Camden Road coming east out of Camden is
Oh,
just
God.
like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna try to do everything we can for that section this year. It'll be a Band-Aid, now I know it's a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
But we gotta get that center route out of there.
So I work for Northwest Township, so I got an idea on what it costs to do things. Actually, I got in on the work and stuff. Hillsdale County to chip and seal roads, what's the price on that?
Right about, depending on what it is, anywhere from 36 to 42,000 a mile.
Okay, so Woodbridge is going to hell, from Territorial Road up to the T, it's nasty. And then you got, Southwest there on the one side, put that stupid driveway down through there, built the barn. It's got mud running out on the road, needs to be cut back so the water will run out, cause you got nothing but a pool about 2 car hood sizes to get there. When it rains heavy, just lays in the road and that road just gets blown to pieces. Feed trucks coming up there to James Screw and them down through there, are not helping at all. Which them roads probably aren't built for that type of weight, even though it's less than 40,000 pounds, cause I drive trucks, so I kinda know what goes on in that kind of thing, but,
So that's kind of the bad part is, as long as they're running legal loads, and we know the roads aren't built for some of these heavier loads, we can't limit them.
but they're good for
That's-
40,000 pounds. right?
That's
And
commerce, and we can't limit the commerce.
But the roads are good for 40,000, aren't they?
I'm not gonna give them a,
No, right, I mean, your estimate,
oh yeah,
when you come in
any
and
road
pay,
should be that.
because, we done Sellers, and that's blown to pieces already.
But what people gotta understand is, like you say, we did Sellers, but if the whole thing, if the base and everything wasn't done, it's still a
Oh, I
Band-Aid.
know, I poured a lot of concrete in my life, I know exactly what the base means to something.
Okay. Is there any old business? If not, new business. Chair signed the test page 2024 annual financial report. I don't think we need a motion for that.
I don't believe so, we just need you to sign it. So that's like I said, the attest page to the audit, so the audit's done, and we should be able to get that and send it to the county. And I believe Katie's setting up a time for him to come, give the audit to you.
They're gonna do it by phone, or they actually come?
I think they'll come in.
Okay, approved sign MDOT, engineering reimbursement.
And that's basically to add up to the $10,000 that we can get reimbursed from the state for having engineers.
Right.
Work. So,
I would move we approve the MDOT engineering reimbursement.
Support.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Board of Directors, is that for CRA or,
it's actually, McChrysett,
Crescent?
and so basically there's one guy running.
There's
I'll vote for him.
members-
So Lester Livermore from Mackinac County Road Commission is the vote for one, there's one candidate, so we'll have you sign that too.
We know the outcome.
You got another
You
signature?
have a member, and then the other 2 members. can
Yeah,
sign
you
up
have to
there.
sign a couple on the bottom. Do I have to sign it? It's just voted, no?
Is that good enough?
Well, I think Bob wants them signed below as well.
Yeah, we got,
Here, I'll let
they didn't
you,
leave enough spaces, but if we can just sign below the M dot. We're good for it.
What is that one for?
Just below this one?
that's the engineer reimbursement, yes.
It wants everybody on it.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. Thank you.
Was that the end of the thing?
That's what they're saying.
Oh,
There was the one down there.
all right. Here's the end of it.
Is there any other new business?
We just did the bottom here, because there's only three.
I believe that's it.
Okay.
That was a question I had. Okay, the McChrysip annual meeting, I believe is the last full week in July, which was, will be when our scheduled meeting was. And it fall, it's like Wednesday, Thursday, we had talked the last time we met about changing that, and I think Kathy, you said you weren't gonna be here then either. Cause I wanna go to that meeting.
Maybe the first meeting in July, we can switch it to whatever date
Okay.
everybody wants to do.
That'll work.
You wanna switch it to what? Our meeting falls on the 24th of July.
Yeah.
Which is Thursday.
Yes.
So are you gonna be gone for a full week? You don't
I
know?
am gonna be gone from my plan is to be gone from the 17th through the 27th. My son is in town from Arizona, and we're gonna be in Indian River. My son and his family.
Yeah, we can move it to, I hate to do it on a Friday because we're closed.
Yeah.
And we'd have to bring.
So if you moved it to the following week, you're still in July, it's the 31st.
That's right.
Yep,
And that's still a
Would that work,
Thursday.
Bob?
Sure. We could do
Would that work here? Would that be a problem here for payroll and payables and stuff?
No, shoot.
I just wanted to ask.
We'll figure
We
it out.
will make
Okay.
it work.
So we don't need a motion today, are we gonna do that at the next meeting or
we can
something?
do it
Yeah,
at the next meeting.
Okay, but I'm gonna pencil it in on this day
yeah, 31st.
at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Parks beforehand?
Are we gonna have parks before that meeting?
Yeah.
Do we need to? We don't know yet.
We'll have Mike at the meeting, the first one in July.
Right,
So we
We
can
can
ask him what's
make
coming
that
up.
decision
Yeah.
now.
But we do plan on having a parks meeting at our
Yes.
next June board meeting,
Yes.
which is the 26th. And we're gonna do it parks at 9 a.m., correct?
Right.
Alright,
Okay. Now, my most favorite part, I just love this. Approved 2025 township contracts.
Move to approve.
Got
Support.
some Hillsdale, Pittsburgh, man, boy.
So I have a couple questions.
Okay.
The Ransom Township contract. Are they able to pay for this in 1 year?
Yeah, they haven't said anything about now.
What,
I said the same, I thought the same thing.
what happened to the story that we heard for years was they didn't have any money?
Well, I'm hoping they're being conservative, but I think they're spending everything they got, and that makes me nervous.
Well, then I think part of it is a different supervisor.
Well, that helps. Yeah.
Well, you know, they got a healthy chunk of, COVID money. And I know that his first priority was to put that on some improvements for their township hall. So I think they have a healthy chunk of that COVID money left over. That's what I think.
They didn't do a lot to the township hall.
Yeah, I was in, I was in,
No, they didn't.
I was in there this last spring at voter review time, and yeah, I couldn't see that they'd really done a whole lot. So, and then, so, a similar question, I guess, on Pittsburgh Township with Day Road. So, as I look at this contract, it appears like we intend on doing some work for that 3 mile.
They had another contract that they were gonna do, and they decided not to do that and put all their money on Day Road, because that's the part that blew out with the milk haulers or whatever,
No, the
and
dairy,
dairy.
all in Winona.
Okay, and then there was also that one spot at the beginning of the road, they're gonna take care of it all at one whack.
Because there was the chunk there from 127 west to about a half a mile that covers that factory.
Mhm.
I thought they were just gonna do that first mile, but they're gonna do more of it than that apparently.
Yes.
I'm pleased to hear that. But I was surprised. So those two both surprised
I
me.
don't think they were going to until
It blew
those
up.
spots blew up.
Okay,
Kind of similar to Jerome and Wahlberg.
Yes.
And when those blew out, we had to pulverize it, so now we'll have to go back and pay road back over top of them.
So we needed a motion to approve the contract?
Yeah,
So moved.
I thought we already did.
Yeah.
Already did.
Oh,
Already have, done.
this is just this under discussion.
Okay.
I thought you didn't want too many motions.
we'll let you do it.
I'm just moving along.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same.
That's all right.
And like before, like I said, I don't believe we need to go to closed
No.
session.
We don't have anything to discuss till we find out why.
I would just like to make this one comment in closing, you know, with respect to these two gentlemen that are here. Clearly, South Hillsdale Road from Montgomery Road to the state line and Territorial Road from M99 west to the Indiana line. We've gotta do more there than simply wait for another 3 to 5 years to do something, because they are heavily traveled and they're falling apart.
Thank you.
Well, and right now, paper patch is gonna be our tool.
G&D runs up and down there, you know he's overweight.
That's the problem throughout the county.
I'd like to throw something in on the minutes if I could.
We got a public comment.
Okay, good, thank you.
Right after we get this signed.
Okay.
Kathy?
Did I miss one? I'm on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at the end.
Who's missing?
Maybe Mike?
He is, sorry.
That's all right.
Supposed to be clear to me.
He's got all the same stuff, right?
I'm sure I don't see that on his phone in there.
All done?
I think they're done.
All right, public comment.
okay?
Go ahead.
This is just a thought, and I'd like to take, have you take a look at this. I live back on the north end of View Drive, which is off of Dale Drive, which is off of East Diane Drive. I live back in on the peninsula. It's a private road, it runs 100 yards maybe from Dale Drive, and then it stops and it turns private. The township owned the diamond-shaped park that was there. The Lake Association has deeds now, so they own that back in there. So I am in the process of purchasing that, maybe, donation, and nothing's been worked out yet. There's a cul-de-sac that sits there, and I'd like to just take it into consideration. If I get this, finish closing that road out to Dale Drive, since I usually have it cleaned by the time the county gets there. Number two, the county has to back into the stop sign, because they just got basically too big of trucks to get back in and wall around in my yard, which they've done numerous times, and I've called up there and asked not to do that. And then close that road out through there and disperse that cul-de-sac to the local property owners there. Just wanna, I was gonna throw that at you after the fact, I just wanna put it out there, so, you know, it's like, we mow it, they hire somebody to mow it, but, Rick Willard, do you know him? Does that ring a bell? Carbon Construction? Well, he's a contractor, owns all them lots right around this corner and the house there. He was supposed to have been here, but, we usually have everything mowed up before they even get there. I mean, I just retired, so I'll probably be running for somebody's position, which I think Mike's, Barney is down my jurisdiction. Is that who, or don't you have jurisdictions when you're super?
You run at large,
Okay,
the whole county.
alright, so just take
You're
that
kind
into
of asking
consideration.
for that to be abandoned.
That's what we're asking. I've talked to half the property owners, you know, Clemminger's one. A family owns the other two, then you got the guy on the corner, you got Tim right across the road. And then Willard owns the adjacent parcel to the south. Actually, I think his brother owns it, to this cul-de-sac. And I butt up against it on the north end. And then it goes back to this diamond-shaped park, which they don't take care of the park. And since, and I bought the property in 2011, they keep losing that, they've lost that much shoreline. Cause I rocked mine right away, so I can tell how much is going around through there, and it needs taken care of. But they don't, like most entities, have any money to do anything. So, you know, I'm in discussions with them on how we can get this done accordingly, cause they, like anybody else, think their stuff is worth more than it actually is. But, and they also own the lot on the corner, as you turn left off of Dale onto View Drive, where they put a bunch of concrete in, but basically left that lot unbuilt till they haul, get all that concrete out of there. So we're just throwing things around right now with them, cause they're all in disarray most of the time, just over weeding and stuff, and I don't know.
So I will say, as for the board's knowledge, the abandonment that we just did for Business Road is totally different than the abandonment for this, because that deals with water. This is gonna end in water, so Eagle gets involved, and there's a lot more stuff.
It's just a cul-de-sac though.
But the road ends at the water, so they get involved with it.
The
So
road ends at the water,
Yeah.
but the road's a private road. That's a private road at that stop sign. Back where I live, from where the fence is, clear around is all private.
okay, then I guess I'll need to take a look at that.
Yeah, it stops right there at that stop sign.
If it's private, then we won't even get involved with it. But
Yeah, that's all private, but the cul-de-sac is on the public road. You'll have to take a look at it, just take a look at it and, you know, I've been working on this for a year and these guys, you know, keep stonewalling what needs to be done. It's just gonna save them money, cause they pay to have it mowed and it's already mowed, so just kinda working
Well,
through
if you
it.
got a couple minutes afterwards,
Sure,
sit and talk with me.
yeah.
Anything else?
I
Yeah.
just have one more question for Bob. This road rating system that you mentioned, whose name I already forget.
Pacer?
Pacer. Are the road ratings publicly available? How would I find out what they are?
Yeah,
I
I'll
thought
have
they
to.
were on I thought they were on the website.
Yeah, they should be.
commission's
Road
website?
Commission's
Okay.
website.
Okay, thanks.
I think it pays
So every
for,
road's rated, and I think we got them all done this past year.
Yes.
So,
and then it's, the OC, or the truck route is on there too.
and just, kind of to answer, I think maybe what you were asking earlier is, we just can't go out and fix the worst road. We've got to try to keep the good roads good, and then hope and wait for federal aid or grant to fix those bad ones. That's just the way the state of Michigan looks at the road system, that's part of the pacer rating, that's part of the asset management. You keep your good roads good, because that doesn't cost you as much, and then when you get that chunk of money, you fix the bad spots.
Or turn them into gravel.
I don't like that, but sometimes that happens.
All right, thanks.
We also have to pay for the bridges too. We, what did we put in for 4 bridges every year?
We've got 0 so
And
far.
we've got 0 money for bridges in the last 2 years.
And that's
So
state money.
Hillsdale County paid for territorial?
That was approved a long time ago.
Okay, 'cause that's a 14-month ordeal, that mess.
Yeah.
Oh, that was way,
Oh, that was way longer than that.
way longer.
Well, I mean, just the physical work of it
Yes,
was 14
yes.
months.
Yeah, that's another reason why, Camden Road, just east of Camden town, deteriorated so badly in the last 2 years is because all the semis started routing that way. And that,
Oh, they
Did
going
no
down Ohio
favors.
dirt roads too.
yeah, a lot of them started hitting Camden Road, that did it no favors.
Anything else?
We adjourned.
All right,
Support.
all in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right, take it.
Thanks for coming.
Yep.
Oh, thank you guys.
Thanks for being polite.